Righty, everybody. We are live. You never did. It always just captures like the biggest as we're seeing on the preview, like this weird. When you think you're not being recorded, you're being recorded,
right.
Which is why we're always on edge
There
a little
we are.
bit at the beginning of this. But hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of the Just Two Marks Wrestling Recap Show. I am the Athletic Geek, joined once again by Jedi Jason
Hello.
Kruger. And, last week it was just kind of very, very a big negative atmosphere. Kind of how I felt about the show. Just wasn't really feeling anything positive. This week, significantly different. I feel like there's a lot more fun stuff to talk about. So, if you've never seen this show before, this is the Just Two Marks Wrestling Recap Show. Jedi and I have been watching wrestling together for over 15 years. We love wrestling. We love talking wrestling with other passionate wrestling fans and sharing our love of this wonderful, wonderful art form. However, Jedi and I are not insiders. We are not in the wrestling business. We avoid insider terms because at the end of the day, we're not wrestlers, we're not insiders. We're just like each and every one of you. We are just two marks. And yeah, let's just go ahead and start off with Raw for the sake of
What happened on Raw this week? Anything?
See, the thing is, like, I watched some clips, but like, the two big things to talk about was everything that happened on Wednesday night.
Mm-hmm.
Raw, from what I saw of it, was decent, but like, I'm not really invested in it because it's all building to a Saudi show that I'm not gonna watch.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Which I guess is this next week?
Something like that.
Or this, yeah. Something.
Something like that. That should tell you how little.
My thing here is saying the go home show, so I guess it's coming up pretty quick. Yeah.
That just shows how little we care about the Saudi show.
Work the way you're supposed to.
Ricochet, Drew McIntyre had a good match.
I don't even know if I paid attention to what they did on Raw.
I watched that match.
Full disclosure, October is ridiculously busy month for me, so things take back seats.
Cuckolding is continuing.
Well, of course it would.
Yeah.
Halloween, oldest kid's birthday, all that, so my mind's elsewhere. Apologize, I'm like half awake right now.
Yeah, we all are. And that's pretty much what happened on Raw. Just go out of your way, check out Ricochet versus Drew McIntyre, because it shows how underutilized both guys are, in my opinion. And yeah, just very, very.
It's just one of those we're spinning our wheels till after Saudi Arabia is over.
Yeah, and are they going to quit spinning their wheels after Saudi Arabia? Isn't that the $1 million question?
It is.
Well,
except for NXT, of course, because they're just doing their thing.
Oh, we'll get to that, my friend. But since it's fresh and some people might have watched it, go over SmackDown.
Let's attempt.
That's attempt.
So obviously, I didn't watch it. I was out with the kids trick-or-treating, so... I guess Hogan and Flair were on there. Oh gosh, Shorty G. Who wants to talk about Shorty G?
Oh, let's not say why. I'm trying not to yell as much because that bothered everybody last week and it hurt everybody's ears. And I'm trying to remain tranquilo. But good God, like who? What? That is about. Him actually being called Shorty G is pretty much almost at the equivalent of what if they decide to go with Fang McFrost or Chili McFreeze for Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
Like what idiot said this is good? What idiot said that's good shit?
Unfortunately, there wasn't someone like Steve to say no.
Mm-hmm.
No.
So, yeah. It's just like, I just really, I almost just don't care.
I guess the Firefly Funhouse survives in some form or fashion.
I have not seen.
I will have to watch that. Apparently it returns.
Yeah, apparently it returns.
Rambling Rabbit is alive and well again.
See, I just don't want
I mean, you know,
to. You know, like I said, I
a
haven't,
weekly fiend update.
I haven't gotten to SmackDown yet. It's not on my thing, but you know, seen a few clips on YouTube. Nothing that made me really set the world on fire. So why don't we quit talking about it?
That's fair.
Why don't we quit talking about?
I'll tell you what. If anybody in the comments watched it and there's something worth talking about,
let us know.
yes, type it
Let
in.
us know.
Be like, hey, this, and I will look it up real quick to the best of my power.
Let's get to there are the three big things we should talk about this week.
No,
NXT, AEW, and New Japan. New Japan and their, you know, how they're going to expand more into America. So, you know, it was announced that New Japan Pro Wrestling would be starting their own. I don't know if it's necessarily a branch off into America. I don't know if it's an American promotion or what exactly.
I was unclear from what I read.
Yeah.
On what it was.
But apparently they're going to really start taking America seriously a little bit more. Which, as this was touched upon last week, you know, do you think more New Japan influence would help Ring of Honor? This leads me to wonder what's going to happen with the relationship between New Japan and Ring of Honor.
Right.
Because
it's clear that Ring of Honor needs New Japan more than New Japan needs Ring of Honor.
But on the flip side thing, Ring of Honor doesn't act like they care about having New Japan. Like, they do, but they don't.
True.
You know, I mean, obviously one of the things that's kind of put some strain on the relationship was the Enzo and Cass controversy at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
And if, you know, obviously, like, look, as much as we rag on Ring of Honor, it's always going to be around because Sinclair Broadcast it's cheap, easy programming for Sinclair Broadcast Company.
It's just like Impact. As long as they have backing, they'll never die.
Yeah. It may not be, it may go from being, you know, the best wrestling in the world to pretty much just literally filler.
Yeah.
But for the most part,
your
it's
local NWA branch.
Yeah. Well, NWA's great.
No. Your local NWA branch back in.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean. You know what I'm saying.
That's something. We'll get to NWA Power too for a little bit. I've loved all three of those. But the big thing with New Japan is, you know, it's kind of like how do you think they should approach an American territory? Should they treat it like it's its own brand, or should it just kind of be like? Because I feel like you're not gonna get the best in New Japan.
Right.
You know, I wouldn't expect Okada to be a part of this, or Tana,
right,
or Naito. But on the flip side of things, if they go about this U.S. territory, the way they went about those winter shows in the United States, you know, in Charlotte, Nashville, etc., then the territory will not be successful. Even though the shows, you know, wasn't necessarily their fault why they weren't considered that great, you know, I don't think people don't want to just see young lions from the LA Dojo and American Indie Talent. When we hear New Japan Pro Wrestling, we want to see our fair share of Japanese guys. Right. And we got some people in the chat finally, huh? Right? SCU. I'm drinking water right now, buddy. Next week, though, as I give away the prizes, we'll be popping open a little bit of the bubbly. So, keep that in mind.
Let's see.
You're talking about New Japan.
New Japan, right. What? Yeah.
Yep. They're me trying. They blew it in Los Angeles. Good lineup, but not what people wanted. Which show was this in Los Angeles? Because I know they had the big controversy in New York where they apparently told that in New York you have to have an ambulance there, but someone told them no ambulance, but so the show got delayed. I feel like you make the U.S. title the focal point because it's the title that nobody in Japan cares about is the IWGP United States Championship.
Right.
So you build it around Juice and Archer. Trying to think like some of the other good like Gaijin talent they bring in. They're not going to be able to use Moxley in the United States.
No,
from what I understand,
they made that clear already. I think.
Or Jericho, like they can go to Japan, but not the States.
Mm-hmm.
So honestly, the names. I mean, you could still probably bring in quite a few. Tamatonga, Tongaloa. Chase Owens probably have, the Bullet Club probably have a significantly larger role there.
Right.
Maybe I don't know if Jay would necessarily be as big, over there. Maybe he could be the face. I think that'd be a better role for him than him being bigger in actual Japanese wrestling because he just gets overshadowed by,
right.
Yeah. Basically, Jay's a good wrestler, but when he's surrounded by Naito and Tanahashi and Okada and Ibushi. He's kind of like one of these things is not like the other. There's one that needed visas for everyone. Okay, that one. Yeah, we brought that up earlier. Yeah, that was. You can't really necessarily blame that on New Japan. So, but one of the strategies I feel they should go with is a lot of these older Japanese legends. I mean, I know a lot of them aren't going to want to go to the United States all the time, but some of these guys that have some name value from the United States, like Taka Michinoku, use him.
Right.
Because there'll be somebody who's like, oh, Japanese pro wrestling. Oh, I remember Taka. Yuji Nagata. Yeah, I know he's on his last, he's in his 50s, so I mean, I don't know how much longer he's going to last, but, Yuji Nagata would be a good one. Kojima, the New Japan dads, as they call them. And then maybe every now and again, you bring one name for each show. Bring Naito for one show. Bring Tana for one show. Bring Ibushi for one.
Right.
Kind of like have your Gaijin, have your lower level Japanese names in there, and then have your one name. If it's going to be like its own separate promotion.
Right.
If it's just going to be more touring in America, then fuck, just do how you want. The problem, if they just do more touring in America, is you're going to have to make these shows seem like a bigger deal. Like they did a good job with the New Japan portion of G1 Supercars. You had some matches that had some build to it with Naito and Ibushi and Jay and Okada. But then like you have these like other shows now where like the matches are just like, and they're all in just a have fun tag match. That's neat, but if you want people to take the brand and this expansion seriously, you need a little more than just, oh hey, here's all their big names in a tag match. So that's pretty much okay, yeah. I mean, well, you don't have the visas, and you can't bring in, the talent that Americans don't see all the time. That's pretty much what I said, because there was one in Nashville, which, we could have drove to, but I said, like, I'm not going all the way to Nashville for essentially ROH on a Lion Mark mat. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for, you have any thoughts on the New Japan expansion?
Not today.
Not today?
No. I'm sorry. I'm fading over here.
Oh, me too. It's in our town, this is our town, like our fall festival time, so we're all pretty exhausted. Well, we'll just go into NWA Power was good.
Yeah. Tell me about that.
That really?
I haven't seen anything of it.
Aldous
champion still?
Aldous champion still. He beat Tim Storm a few weeks ago, and now Tim Storm can never challenge for the NWA title ever again. So you're kind of seeing Storm in the twilight of his career, and he's kind of lost his motivation a little bit. But Eli Drake's trying to take him on as a partner, so like, hey, let's get one more run. You can be a great tag champion. And you're kind of seeing the big story right now with that is you're seeing Tim Storm I won't give too much away because you can go watch this on YouTube for free. You're seeing Tim Storm kind of in the twilight and the crossroads of his career, where, you know, when the NWA was back on its rise, he was the champion. He talked about, you know, he's a 53-year-old man.
Right.
He's a school teacher. He's, you know, he's on the mountaintop, and once he comes off the mountaintop, he doesn't know like what else there is. There's really nothing left for him to do if he can't be the NWA champion anymore.
Right.
There's nothing left. So he's kind of at this crossroads here at the end of his, you know, with what's the last part of his career. So I think it was a really good story they're telling with Tim Storm, and I want to see where it goes from here. Check out NWA. Check it out. It's good. It's good, and it's free. It's on YouTube.
Can't beat that.
Yeah.
There you go. If you're like me and you don't, well, you have the network, but if you're like me and you don't have any of the cable or Sling or whatever,
watch NWA.
You know, NWA and AEW Dark. I mean, it's not quite Dynamite, but it's, you know, I mean, it's not bad.
No.
You have some pretty good ones. You have a few very, you know,
right,
basic ones.
Well, hey, AEW Dark this week, you know, had a really, really good 8-man tag match with the Rhodes Brothers and the Young Bucks versus Private Party, Shima, and T-Hawk. So
on the flip side, it had Nyla Rose versus Leva Bates, which was serviceable. So, you know, a little sprinkling of this and that.
So we want to talk about first, you know, now that we're back into we're into the good part of this here.
Let's just keep with the pattern we've been going. Do NXT first.
Let's do NXT
close
first.
On AEW.
Well, I'll save that hot take for the end of it. But let's go to NXT. You got it pulled up? Or?
Barely. In a very lazy way. All right, here we go.
There we go. It's been a rough 3 weeks for the show.
Really has, hasn't it? This month.
Between illness and...
I have my wedding anniversary, my oldest birthday, Halloween, all the nonsense going on here in town. Yeah. October is a busy month. Let's see.
Obviously, everybody knows the big thing that happened on this show. But go through every...
Oh. Sorry, I clicked on the wrong...
You pressed the wrong thing.
I clicked
you had one job, Jedi!
NXT. Oh, I should have checked the results. Yeah, that's on me.
Had a triple threat match. It wasn't the first match.
Oh, Bianca and
Rhea Ripley.
Thank you.
You know,
did you watch it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I watched it after the fact. I didn't watch it live.
I understand that.
I thought this was good. Not great. You know, I'd say very good. I'm still not totally sold on Bianca Belair, but I feel like a lot of people have kind of scaled back on, you know, at least, you know, in certain circles about how she's so great. So maybe now that they've kind of scaled back on that, I kind of don't have this kind of feeling with Bianca Belair.
Yeah, that's fair.
People aren't, you know, people aren't overrating her. So now, I don't go in expecting a whole lot of shit or a whole lot of this greatness.
Right.
So now, I guess I'm able to appreciate and see how she can improve more, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
The total opposite of something we're going to talk about when we get to AEW. So, yeah, but I thought they had a good match, good little opener. Matt Riddle wrestled Cameron Grimes. See my previous opinions on Matt. He's okay. Right. He's good. You know, I guess I don't see as many people, you know, just really sucking up to Matt Riddle, but I just can't get into him. I'm trying to get into him. I want to be big with Matt Riddle, but I just can't do it. I don't. Mm-hmm. You know, can you help me out? What is it that I'm missing with Matt Riddle?
I cannot help you out. Sorry. Yeah, no, he doesn't really do it for me either, but Who the hell is Isaiah Scott?
I didn't even really know who that was, but
Okay, well, he teamed with the Fashion Police since Kushida was injured,
yeah.
and they beat the Forgotten Sons. Apparently, he scored the pinfall. So.
I mean, they're gonna. I guess they're having some more main roster people,
Yeah.
with the Fashion Police going back to NXT. So, actually, I don't even know if Fandango was ever really in NXT except for the game show version. So.
Oh, it's some cruiserweight guy, apparently. Okay.
That's what we get for not watching 205 Live.
Indeed. Apparently, he's on the rise. Angel Garza versus Chuck Gallagher, because we like our cruiserweights.
I actually don't even remember this match. Because I watched the next morning on Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember this match at all. I'm sorry. Like
Garza beat Gallagher.
I mean, like maybe I'll have to find a way to watch it somehow. Because I mean, I love I like Jack Gallagher, but I feel like I'm trying to remember this match and I don't remember anything about it. So, I mean, sorry y'all. And I don't remember.
Oh wow, that's cool. It was the number one contender match: Duke and Shafir versus Dakota Kai and Tegan Knox.
I do remember. I don't really remember. Again, I don't remember. Blah, blah, I can't talk. Late night for all of us. I don't remember much of the match, but I do remember that an NXT team is now going to be gunning after essentially what is, for all intents and purposes, a main roster title. So I feel like that's interesting. It's something that this title needs.
A year ago.
Yeah, it's something that title needs because I'd say it's the like maybe one notch above the 24/7 title in terms of like prestige.
Oh yeah, especially at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, up until Alexa and Nikki had it, they never did anything with it.
Right.
So yeah, it's kind of exciting. Definitely the right team to win. Duke and Shafir are still not quite. They're not Baszler. I mean,
no.
At least as far as I can tell, they're not.
No. And then we go to one of the best matches.
By the way, I'm glad that Tegan Knox can still wrestle after all that horrific horribleness.
No, I don't remember.
Oh, she was the one in the second Mae Young Classic that they were like, wow, she's really great and she might win. And she had, the year before she'd been out because she like tore her ACL or whatever.
Right.
And in the middle of like the semifinal match or whatever, she tore her other ACL.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the other one. Like she overcompensated. Like, it was horrific. The ref literally stopped the match and she's just like laying in the ring crying like, not again, I can't do this again. It's like, it was awful, you know.
Yeah.
Ripley, to her credit, was just like, yeah, I win because I'm the bad guy, you know, walked off. But it was awful. Like the whole arena just went silent, you know.
That sounds awful. That sounds terrible.
It was a downer. So I'm glad that she, made a comeback.
Now we come to one of the best matches this week. And I want to say this, I give, especially because Nick is such a Roderick Strong fan. And I give Roderick Strong all kinds of hell because he's very much not a good promo or interview or whatever you want to call it. He does not talk well. Mm-hmm. But for every bit as bad as he is at that, he's been proving last couple of, real big title defenses with him, how good he is title defense, and then when he won the title, man, he is the workhorse of the Undisputed Era. He is almost the workhorse of the workhorse brand right now. It's just a shame that that's the one thing missing from him being, possibly one of the best in the world right now.
There was a time when a thing called managers existed.
and honestly, and Ring of Honor, they gave him Truth Martini for a while. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, but you're just seeing, like, this was an incredible match with, him and Dijakovic and Keith Lee. great match. You know, the NXT North American title, dare I say, means as much as the NXT title itself. You know, just because of the quality of matches that go into it and the quality of people that have held that title.
Right.
There's not been a dud as the North American champion since the belt has been.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
You know, like Gargano didn't have the best run with it, but still, you know, having it and then immediately going and winning the NXT title. You know, Ricochet's did a great job with it. Velveteen Dream, exceptional job with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'd say that belt means as much as the NXT title, and because of quality matches,
I would agree.
like Roderick Strong and the Velveteen Dream, like this triple threat match here.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you know that that's why on this brand, the mid-level championship, the secondary belt is meaningful. Yet on Raw, you have AJ Styles, probably the best guy on the main roster, carrying a mid-card title and nobody cares.
Yeah.
You know, you have who?
Also, the tag team championships. I mean, it's rare that you see a bad match with the NXT tag championships when they're defended.
Who even is? You know what? I feel bad. No, who is the Intercontinental Champion? I can't even remember off the top of my head.
Shinsuke Nakamura.
There you go.
I know.
Again.
I know. Roman Reigns has been kind of feuding with him over it, which is weird.
That is weird.
Brock Lesnar took the other belt, so the Intercontinental belt is the most important belt on SmackDown, right?
Yeah. I know. Last week on SmackDown, you know, they did have a little bit of Nakamura, and I did go back and watch that, a little bit of Nakamura and Bryan, and I was really hoping for a program between Nakamura and Bryan to help raise the Intercontinental title, and I said, stop thinking things like that. You're just going to end up disappointed.
Right.
Stop thinking good things about raising the Intercontinental title or making you want to see things on the main roster. If you
just stop setting yourself up for failure and disappointment there. Yeah.
There's a song lyric in the song "Hey Jealousy" by the Gin Blossoms. If you don't expect too much from me, you might not be let down.
Yeah.
That is that epitomizes the main roster right now. If you don't expect too much from me, you might not be let down.
My motto at work.
Yeah. But either way, I really love this match, and I thought this is what we were going to be talking about, you know, all week. Especially when it comes to NXT, it's like, wow, what another great showing. And then you have the Undisputed Era come out. DIY comes out, which I do want to say this, like, I get, you know, with everything Ciampa's been through, you know, like, it's kind of like when Triple H came back from tearing his quad, you know, it's kind of like the real world has made it kind of hard to hate Ciampa, and then you kind of, you know, he did kind of hug Gargano at NXT TakeOver New York, so I get it a little bit more why they're palsy wows again, but it is kind of one of those like, you know, you did spend the majority of last year talking about how I'm glad I ruined your life and I'm glad I ruined your career and you got to look at me in your wedding pictures and I've ruined everything, and you know that's just sometimes that's just not how a good friend operates.
I know,
but you had Undisputed Era.
At least it's not like when they went to Raw for that like one whole week and were friends, even though they were still feuding. I mean, that didn't happen. That didn't happen.
That was just bad. Yeah. It was a stupid idea from bad creative.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Exactly.
So they're outnumbered, and then we see Finn Balor come out. And Finn Balor said other than my past is my future. We think he's talking about NXT. And you think we're going to have this big, you know, you're thinking, oh, you know, this is how they're going to do War Games this year. You know, it's going to be, you know, Balor and DIY and probably Dream versus... And you have all these things, and then, boom! Finn Balor, for the first time in the WWE, is a bad guy.
Yep.
And
so is Bayley.
I know, right? And I remember just kind of thinking, wow, that was tremendous. Imagine if they would have been done on the main roster with all the shit that Finn has
Oh,
gone
hell
through on the
no.
main roster.
Hell no.
Never be done, but it's like
by...
it's kind of just like, God, that could have been so great. But alas.
It would have been awful. It's a good thing he's doing
No, I'm saying, like, what if he would have joined Gallows and Anderson and AJ, you know, and then just kind of been one of those.
Oh, yeah, if they'd done it right, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we're seeing the thing that that NXT is proving, and NXT is not perfect.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, like, even with the exception of this week, you know, spoiler alert, I feel like they had the better show than AEW this week. With the exception of this week, you know, they kind of fell short compared to the new company out there. Mm-hmm. But we're seeing that somehow, some way in WWE, things can be good.
Mm-hmm.
You can have good storytelling, good surprises. You know, not surprises like somebody being a fucking cuck. You know what I mean?
It's not Rusev Day.
No. We're seeing that it's possible, like, you know, to put together a very, 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 very good show. So I guess while on one hand, I guess I shouldn't be angry or shouldn't, you know, be over analytical and just be. I should just be going. Be thankful you're getting a good wrestling show. Be thankful that you're seeing Finn Balor used well.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just one of those like, motherfuck. How fucking hard is it? Really? Really? How hard is it to use Finn Balor in a good way?
Right.
And that concept has been lost on them since he hurt his shoulder at SummerSlam 16. It's like, how the hell are we going to use Finn Balor? So he kicks Johnny Gargano. He turns villain. I don't think he kind of they did the Undisputed Era pose, but he instead put the gun down instead of that. So then kind of proves he's kind of a lone wolf and not part of the Undisputed Era. But still, yep, definitely a nice new character change for Finn Balor. And on that note, let's go to AEW. Let's go to AEW and get the fuck out of here because we're tired.
Yeah, I apologize. I'm usually more with it than this. This is like me at my close to my lowest here. Let me catch something and then you'll see me at my
right.
All right, so.
Well, the tag team, some good tag team wrestling happening.
I mean, one would hope, considering.
They have Lucha Bros versus Private Party. Lucha Bros advance to the next round of the tournament, which, by the way, next week, for even those that may have been eliminated, if you want to tune in, we will be announcing the winner, possibly having to draw the winner for the prizes. You will be getting this Hulu card. You will be getting over there in the box a random action figure and a random comic book. The winner. Woo. And we'll draw the action figure and the comic book live here on air and toast with a little bit of the bubbly to celebrate your victory. But Lucha Bros advancing to the finals, and I thought this was a really good match. I want to see Lucha Bros and Private Party again.
That's fair.
And then on the flip side of things, we have, I shouldn't say on the flip side of things in terms of bad, but you have a hot tag team, or at least a very, very good tag team in SCU versus probably the biggest flop in the short history of AEW, Dark Order, and at least SCU won, and now they can either kind of go back to the drawing board with Dark Order, I feel.
Yeah.
Because that has not panned out the way they wanted it to.
No. I don't know what they were going for, but it missed.
Oh, yeah, it didn't. Like, the first night, it's like, who?
Yeah, I know, right?
Like
when they first appeared and with like no announcement whatsoever, and
it was just a big like who?
Yeah.
Who are these guys? Kenny Omega and Joey Janela had a match that counted this time, and it was good. Welcome back, Ray. It was a good match. I'm still no Joey Janela fan, but you know when you're in the ring with Kenny Omega, it's hard to be bad. And I'm not saying that it was a complete that match would have been trashed. Kenny Omega wasn't in there. You know, I'm not gonna, even though I'm not a fan of his work, I'm still gonna. I'm not gonna completely shit on Joey Janela. You know, he pulled his weight, but I'm just still not a big Joey Janela fan. But you know, was still a good match and some good single big, you know, canonical. I don't know if that's the right word. I can't think of a smart way of putting it. A win that counted that Kenny Omega needed. So there you go. Now we had a fun fucking segment.
Yeah,
the whole night. The Inner Circle, sans Jake Hager, were in a luxury box. They're eating popcorn and having a little bit of the bubbly, and you know, they've just been in there. Then Cody's going to go out and he's going to make some kind of announcement. And I remember our friend JC, you know, he was watching it with me, and Cody's trying to do this, and we hear air horn, and he's kind of like, uh-oh, somebody brought in an air horn. Like, at first we were kind of thinking, oh, shit, you know, like, you know, some douchebag fan. No, it was the Inner Circle. And they're up there not letting him talk, and Cody, I feel like, you know, I get that this kind of rallies the troops and kind of gets, you know, it's a good rah-rah moment, but, you know, Jericho gets on the mic, starts talking shit, and Cody says, you know, this isn't like that other company where there's an invisible wall. I'll go up there. Kind of could have done without, you know, you need to quit bringing up the other company so much, but I also get that fires the fans up. But I'd be kind of hypocritical if I condemned TNA for doing that several years ago and then say, like, well, AEW doing the right thing. It's still not. Eventually, you just got to kind of worry about your own shit. But, yeah, Cody acts like he's going to go up there. Jericho says, you know, well, it's still 4-on-1. And then Dustin comes out. He's like, it's 4-on-2. Then MJF comes out. All right, it's 4-on-3. And then DDP comes out. And they start walking up there, and Jericho's just being classic Jericho the whole time. He's like, you know, don't you take another step. And then they're like, I'm warning you, you take one more step. You keep coming up here and I'll show you. And then they all lock themselves in the luxury box. And then Cody puts on MJF's scarf, and they're kind of like taunting him, and he punches through the window, and they scatter. And they're brawling all throughout the concession stand area. I compared to, there was a classic from Memphis Wrestling, the Tupelo, Mississippi concession stand brawl. In the 80s, 70s, 80s when this happened, where they were hitting people throwing them into the popcorn thing and breaking the glass mustard containers over people's heads. You know, like, that was extreme for the day. This felt like the new millennium version of the concession stand brawl. And the big comparison is, the great Memphis commentator Lance Russell, his call when that whole brawl's going on, he goes, there's mustard everywhere. And they're fighting near the Dippin' Dots, and Jared goes, not the Dippin' Dots! And I'm just like, that is, you know, for all the old school wrestling fans that had mustard everywhere in the Tupelo concession stand brawl, we have not the Dippin' Dots. And, you know, separate, and Jericho's there going, we bought a ticket! We bought a ticket! And it was just an amazing segment. It was, you know, I've had some people say, like, well, if that happened in WWE, you get shit all over. No, if that would have happened in WWE, the villains would have won up the heroes and would have left them all line up, pull their own blood, and then been going, ha ha ha, we got one over. The hero or the heroes triumphed. Mm-hmm. The villains look like cowards, and the villains got a comeuppance for being douchebags. Mm-hmm. It was a well-told, well-done segment where, like, it didn't insult the audience's intelligence, which is why I feel like that's why this one was better than a WWE segment.
Right. True.
So we go from there. We have the Best Friends and the Young Bucks. It's about what you would expect from the Best Friends and the Young Bucks. It was a good tag team match.
Right.
Great tag team wrestling all around. You know, obviously, as if there would be any surprise, the AEW tag division is really top notch right now. Now we're gonna have something that may be considered a hot take again this week. So Britt Baker's back in her hometown of Pittsburgh. She gets the Steelers mascot. She got a hero's welcome, and she won, which also, unlike WWE, is a good thing because she would have lost in her hometown had this been WWE.
Right.
But again, like as good as she was at All In, and kind of like at Double or Nothing, where I was kind of on the hype train for her, the last 2 weeks she's been okay, but she's kind of been in that there's something not doing it for me about Britt Baker, and I don't know what it is. I'm sorry. I feel bad, but there's just something not quite
right.
Which I mentioned this earlier, while one of the best wrestlers on their roster is their women's champion right now, even though they're not utilized right, WWE still has better overall, from top to bottom, better women's wrestlers. Right. They're just not utilized well. You have great wrestlers not utilized well, and then you have not as good wrestlers trying to be utilized better in AEW. It's kind of this weird...
I don't know if they got to work with what's left after WWE vacuumed up so much.
They vacuumed up everything, yet they still insist on putting Lacey Evans on TV.
Oh yeah, I mean, they're like a kid who has all the toys but only plays with a handful.
Yeah, but I said, she's like when you look at Britt Baker, it's a pretty remarkable story where she's a dentist and a pro wrestler,
right.
And everything about her, I'm behind it. It's just kind of the last 2 weeks, where I'm like, oh, okay. She's kind of like WWE Shinsuke Nakamura. Where you're like, I want to be a big fan right now, but it's just, no.
A little bit more to work with here.
Yeah. But she still wins in her hometown against Jamie Hayter. First time seeing Jamie Hayter. I need to see more to have an opinion of her. Then the main event, Moxley versus Pac, went to a TV time limit draw.
Bold.
Now,
how was it?
It was a good match. It was a really good match. And the end of it, I feel like with the match they were having, did it take away from the match? Yes. It did. I get why they did it from perspective of they don't want either guy to really take a loss right now, especially in singles action. But, and again, another thing I liked is, when they've said ever since they've been doing this, this scheduled for one full TV time remaining, now we as an audience can know that, hey, you know what? That's not just Justin Roberts saying something. Like, this is something that can happen.
Right.
TV time can run out and the match can end in a draw. So it does kind of keep that stipulation honest. On the flip side, maybe if it didn't just go right up against Finn Balor turning villain, maybe it wouldn't have felt so deflating.
Gotcha.
But it is what it is. I understand why they did it. it makes sense why they did. You know, there's nothing wrong whatsoever. It just maybe when it's going to get compared to what happened on another show, it's maybe just hindsight 2020, not a good call.
I mean, you can't win every week.
And I mean, it won ratings wise, but you know, hey, it's and then Moxley beat up the referee in retaliation at the end of it because he's Jon Moxley.
Exactly,
and that's what happens. And
what you get.
That's what you get. And we're both very exhausted and very tired, so we're going to put a pin in this one this week. Sorry about the last few weeks. It's just been between illness and busyness. It's just been kind of there, but we still happy to have you and still happy to talk wrestling with you.
Yeah, thanks for putting up with us. Me, at least.
Yeah.
I'm over here somewhere between sleep and illness right now.
If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, give it a share, subscribe for more content, not just from the world of pro wrestling, but from the world of anime, gaming, comic books, and all things geek culture. Go like my Facebook page at facebook.com/athleticgeek89. Go follow me on Twitter at athletic_geek89, and go follow me on Instagram at athleticgeek89. Jedi, no social medias because he's got kids that exhaust him, kids that make him come into the show tired after a night of trick-or-treating. But if you want to ask him a question, just hit me up on my socials and I will forward the message on in some way. But for Jedi Jason Kruger, I am the Athletic Geek. We are just two marks, and we're out. Have a good one.
Tune in next week for the winner.
Yes, next week, winner. Tag team bracket tournament.